The massive space station hung in the darkness like a giant metal flower. Its name was Nexus Prime, and it was the most important place in the galaxy. Today something big was happening inside its walls. 12 different alien races had come together for an emergency meeting. They sat around a huge table that showed pictures made of light floating in the air. These pictures showed star maps, ship positions, and battle plans. The aliens looked worried as they stared at the glowing images. The Zephyrians looked like walking crystals. Their leader was tall and made sounds like church bells when he talked. Next to them sat the Drakmari, who had thick red skin and eyes like fire. The insect-like Klixari clicked their mandibles nervously while the gray-skinned Vorthan checked their computers again and again. All of these powerful races had one thing in common today. They were all thinking about humans. The crystal being stood up and his voice filled the room like music. "Friends and allies," he said, "we have gathered because of a serious threat. The humans are moving again." A new picture appeared in the air above the table. It showed a group of human spaceships flying through space. The ships looked small compared to the alien vessels, but everyone in the room knew that humans were dangerous. They had been causing problems for years. "Our scouts report that the human Third Fleet is heading toward the Kepler 442 system," the Zephyrian continued. "This cannot be allowed. We have been mining the quantum crystals there for decades. Those crystals power our weapons and shields. Without them, our defenses will be weak." A Drakmari general slammed his fist on the table. The sound echoed through the room. "The humans think they can take whatever they want," he growled. "They have no respect for our territories. We should have stopped them years ago." The Klixari Queen made a chittering sound that meant agreement. Her compound eyes reflected the light from the holographic display. "My swarms are ready," she said. "We can surround their ships and attack from all sides. They will not escape." But the Zephyrian leader raised one crystal hand for silence. "We must be smart about this," he said. "Humans are tricky. They do not fight like we do. They change their plans quickly and use strange tactics. But this time we have prepared for everything." The display changed to show numbers and charts. Red lines and graphs filled the air, showing ship counts, weapon strength, and battle predictions. The alien leaders studied the information carefully. "Look at these facts," the Zephyrian said, pointing at the floating numbers. "The humans are bringing 156 ships to our system. We have 847 ships waiting for them. That means we have more than 5 ships for every one of theirs." The Vorthan representative nodded his gray head. "Our shield technology is the best in the galaxy," he added. "Their weapons cannot break through our defenses, and with the Drakmari plasma cannons supporting us, we can destroy their ships from far away." "Do not forget my swarms," the Klixari Queen clicked. "When the humans get close, my fighters will surround them like angry bees. They will have nowhere to run." Other alien leaders began to speak up. The blue-skinned Aquarians promised to jam human communications. The rock-like Gornani said their heavy cruisers would form an unbreakable wall. Each race had something special to offer in the coming battle. The Zephyrian leader listened to all of them, then nodded slowly. "With all of our combined strength, victory is certain," he announced. "Our computers have run the calculations many times. Every simulation shows the same result." A new display appeared, showing a timeline of the expected battle. Hour by hour, it predicted what would happen when the humans arrived at Kepler 442. "The human fleet will arrive in the system and see our forces," the Zephyrian explained. "They will try to break through our defenses, but they will fail. After 12 hours of fighting, they will start to retreat. After 24 hours, half of their ships will be destroyed or damaged. After 72 hours, they will surrender completely." The alien leaders murmured their approval. The plan seemed perfect. Every detail had been considered. Every possible human tactic had been studied and countered. "What about their admiral?" asked a Drakmari commander. "Yunsu Kim has won many battles against us. He is clever and dangerous." The Zephyrian's crystal body flickered with light, which meant he was thinking hard. "Yes, Kim is skilled," he admitted. "But skill cannot overcome such impossible odds. He has surprised us before with strange tactics, but mathematics do not lie. Numbers are more powerful than tricks." The Vorthan leader pulled up more data on his personal computer. "Our intelligence reports show that Kim's flagship is the Soul's Pride," he said. "It is a large ship, but it is still just one ship. Even if he has some new plan, he cannot defeat an entire coalition fleet. The humans rely too much on individual creativity," said the Klixari Queen. "They do not understand the power of working together like we do. When all 12 of our races fight as one, We are unstoppable. The Zephyrian leader stood again and spread his crystal arms wide. Then it is decided, he declared. We will position our fleets in the Kepler 442 system and wait for the humans to arrive. When they see our forces, they will know they cannot win. Perhaps they will be smart and retreat without a fight. And if they do not retreat? Asked the Drakmari general. The crystal being's body glowed brighter. Then we will show them why the Galactic Council rules this part of space, he said. The age of human expansion ends now. The meeting continued for several more hours as the alien leaders planned every detail of their strategy. They assigned positions for each fleet, planned communication schedules, and prepared for every possible human response they could imagine. As the aliens talked and planned, none of them noticed something important. Far away in human space, Admiral Hyun-Soo Kim was also having a meeting with his officers, and the humans were making very different kinds of plans. The Galactic Council was about to learn that sometimes the most dangerous enemy is the one who does not fight the way you expect them to. The human flagship Soul's Pride drifted quietly through space. From the outside, it looked like any other large warship, but inside something special was happening. Admiral Hyun-Soo Kim stood on the bridge, looking at a holographic display that showed the enemy fleet waiting for them. The display was not pretty to look at. Hundreds of alien ships formed a perfect sphere around the mining platforms in the Kepler 442 system. Red dots marked weapon positions. Blue lines showed shield generators. Yellow areas indicated patrol routes. It looked like an impossible puzzle with no solution. Kim was a tall man with gray hair and calm eyes. He had fought aliens for 20 years and had learned many hard lessons. The scars on his hands told stories of battles won and lost. Today, he studied the enemy formation like a chess master looking at a difficult game. They outnumber us 5-1, said Dr. So-Young Park as she walked up beside him. She was a small woman with quick fingers and an even quicker mind. Her job was to understand alien behavior and find weaknesses in their thinking. The math is not good for us. Kim nodded but did not look worried. Numbers matter, he said quietly. But they are not everything. Show me what you found. Park activated her portable computer and new images appeared in the air. These showed how the alien races fought in previous battles. Each race had its own style and preferences. The Zephyrians like to plan everything in advance, Park explained. They make detailed strategies and stick to them. The Drakmari prefer direct attacks with heavy weapons. The Klixari use swarm tactics and surround their enemies. And when they work together? Kim asked. That is the problem, Park said with a small smile. They have never really worked together before. Each race thinks their way of fighting is the best. They will try to combine their tactics, but it will be messy. The bridge doors opened and Captain Jamin Lee walked in. He was younger than the other two, with pilot reflexes and sharp eyes. His flight suit was still damp with sweat from his latest reconnaissance mission. Admiral, Lee said as he saluted, I have the final scout report. The aliens are positioned exactly where our spies said they would be. They have formed a defensive sphere with overlapping fields of fire. Every approach route is covered by multiple weapon systems. Kim studied the new data carefully. The alien formation looked perfect on paper. Every weakness was covered. Every angle of attack was blocked. It was the kind of defense that military schools taught as an example of perfection. They learned from our previous battles, Kim said. They studied how we attack and prepared for everything we have done before. So what do we do? Lee asked. We cannot break through that kind of defense with a direct assault. Kim walked to another display that showed the human fleet. Unlike the alien formation, the human ships were spread out in a loose group. They looked disorganized compared to the perfect alien sphere. We do not break through, Kim said. We do something else entirely. He called for his senior officers to gather around the central display. Ship captains, squadron leaders, and technical specialists crowded onto the bridge, some joined by holographic projection from their own ships. Listen carefully, Kim began. The aliens expect us to fight like we did before. They have prepared for every tactic we have used in the past, but we are not going to use old tactics. A new display appeared showing the Soul's Pride in detail, but something was different about the image. The ship looked like it was made of separate pieces that could come apart. For the past 6 months we have been modifying our ships, Kim explained. The Soul's Pride and 12 other vessels have been rebuilt. Each ship can separate into multiple smaller ships during battle. The officers murmured in surprise. This was new information for most of them. Dr. Park stepped forward. The aliens think in terms of large ship formations, she said. Their sensors and weapons are designed to track and destroy big targets. When our ships split apart, their targeting systems will have trouble keeping up. Captain Lee grinned as he understood the plan. We show them one thing, then become something else entirely. Exactly, Kim said. But that is only the first part. Dr. Park has developed something even more interesting. Park activated another device and the display filled with false sensor readings. Suddenly, every human ship appeared to be 3 ships instead of 1. Electronic warfare, Park explained. We can make their sensors see things that are not really there. While they try to figure out which targets are real, we will be moving to new positions. Kim brought up a tactical simulation that showed how the battle might unfold. Human ships separated into smaller vessels while projecting false images. The alien formation designed to fight large fleets struggled to adapt to the changing situation. The key is speed, Kim continued. Aliens think differently than we do. They like to take time to analyze situations and make careful decisions. We have to move faster than they can think. An engineering officer raised her hand. Admiral, what about the quantum drives? Are we really going to use them in combat? Kim nodded seriously. Each ship has experimental quantum drives that can make very short jumps with perfect accuracy. We can appear anywhere within the battle zone in seconds. The aliens will not know where we will attack next. Is it safe? Another officer asked. No, Kim admitted. The drives are still experimental. They might fail, but playing it safe will definitely fail against those odds. Captain Lee studied the tactical display and asked the question everyone was thinking. What do you call this strategy, Admiral? Kim smiled for the first time that day. I call it the soul gambit. We sacrifice apparent strength to gain real advantage. We let them think they know what we are doing. Then we do something completely different. Dr. Park added more details to the plan. Every crew member has been cross-trained in multiple jobs, she said. If we lose people during the battle, others can take their places. Our ships can keep fighting even with heavy damage. This was something unique about human military culture. Other races specialized their crews for specific tasks. Humans trained everyone to do many different jobs. It made human ships much more flexible during combat. The aliens have superior technology, Kim acknowledged. Their weapons are more powerful. Their shields are stronger. Their ships are bigger. But they have one major weakness. Well, what is that? Lee asked. They think like a council, Kim replied. 12 different races trying to coordinate their actions. Each one has to communicate with the others before making decisions. We think like humans. Fast individual decisions that add up to coordinated action. The briefing continued for another hour, as Kim explained every detail of the Soul Gambit. Officers asked questions and suggested improvements. By the end, everyone understood their role in the plan. As the meeting ended, Dr. Park remained behind with Kim and Lee. Do you really think this will work? She asked quietly. Kim looked at the display showing the alien fleet. The aliens calculated what we would do based on what we have done before, he said. They did not calculate what we could do if we stopped following their expectations. Captain Lee checked his watch. How long do we have before we reach the system? 6 hours, Kim replied. Use that time to make final preparations. Check every system twice. Brief your crews one more time. When we drop out of hyperspace, everything will happen very fast. The 3 of them stood together on the bridge, looking at the tactical displays. In a few hours, they would face the largest alien fleet ever assembled. The odds were terrible. The risks were enormous. But for the first time in years, Kim felt optimistic about a battle. You know what the aliens do not understand about humans? He said as his officers prepared to leave. What is that, Admiral? Park asked. Kim smiled again. We do not fight to win. We fight to survive. And humans are very good at surviving impossible situations. The first human ships appeared at the edge of the Kepler 442 system, exactly when the aliens expected them. Bright flashes of light marked their arrival as they dropped out of hyperspace. The Soul's Pride led the formation, just as the alien intelligence reports had predicted. On board the Zephyrian command ship, the Crystal Leader watched the tactical display with satisfaction. They have arrived exactly on schedule, he said to his fellow commanders. Our calculations were correct. The human fleet moved toward the mining platforms in a standard military formation. Their ships broadcast normal communication signals and followed expected approach vectors. Everything looked exactly like the alien war games had predicted. Begin Phase 1 of our defense plan, the Zephyrian ordered. Signal all ships to take their assigned positions. Charge weapons to 60% power. Activate outer shield perimeters. Across the alien fleet, hundreds of ships moved into their predetermined positions. The defensive sphere tightened around the mining platforms. Weapon systems hummed to life. Shield generators created overlapping fields of protection. Everything was going according to plan. Admiral Kim stood calmly on the bridge of the Soul's Pride, watching the alien response. His officers waited for orders, their hands hovering over control panels. The enemy fleet looked exactly as intimidating as he had expected. "Dr. Park," Kim said quietly, "are you ready?" "All systems are prepared, Admiral," she replied from her station. Her fingers danced over holographic controls as she made final adjustments to the electronic warfare equipment. "Captain Lee, how are your pilots?" Lee spoke from the fighter bay through the communication system. "Ready for launch, sir? All squadrons are standing by." Kim studied the alien formation one more time. Perfect positioning. Overlapping fields of fire. No obvious weaknesses. It was exactly the kind of defense that had defeated human fleets in the past. "Signal the fleet," Kim ordered. "Execute Soul Gambit on my mark." What happened next shocked the alien commanders. The Soul's Pride suddenly broke apart like a flower opening its petals. The massive flagship separated into 17 smaller vessels, each one capable of independent operation. Weapon pods became escort ships. Engineering sections transformed into support craft. The bridge module flew free as a command vessel. "What is happening?" The Drakmari general roared as his targeting computers struggled to track the new configuration. Where did all these ships come from? The Kliksari Queen chittered in confusion as her swarm fighters prepared to engage what they thought was one target, only to find themselves facing 17 different threats spread across a wide area. But the surprises were just beginning. Captain Lee launched from one of the separated ship modules with his fighter squadron. Instead of attacking the heavily defended outer perimeter, he led his pilots on what looked like a suicide charge directly toward the most dangerous alien position. "The human fighters are attacking Section 7, reported a Vorten tactical officer. "They are flying straight into our heaviest concentration of firepower." "Let them come," the Drakmari general said with satisfaction. "Our plasma batteries will destroy them easily." But as the human fighters approached, something strange happened. Dr. Park activated her electronic warfare device, and suddenly every human ship on the battlefield appeared to split into 3 identical copies. "Impossible," the Zephyrian leader exclaimed. "Our sensors show hundreds of human vessels. Where did they all come from?" The alien fleet's advanced targeting systems went into chaos. Computer programs designed to track and destroy large ships could not handle the flood of sensor data. Real ships mixed with false images. Large vessels that had become small ones confused targeting algorithms. Everything the aliens had programmed their computers to expect was wrong. "Recalibrate all sensors immediately," ordered the Vorthon commander. "Filter out the false readings." "We are trying," his technical officer replied with panic in his voice. "But we cannot tell which signals are real and which are fake. The human jamming is too sophisticated." While the aliens struggled with their sensors, the human ships began their deadly dance through the battlefield. The Soul Gambit was not about brute force or superior firepower. It was about confusion, misdirection, and speed. The 17 vessels that had once been the Soul's Pride moved in perfect coordination despite being separated. Each captain knew exactly what the others were doing without needing constant communication. This was something the aliens had never seen before. Human military culture emphasized individual initiative within group coordination. Every ship captain was trained to make quick decisions that supported the overall plan. They did not need permission from higher command to adapt their tactics during battle. The alien system was different. Each race had its own command structure, and all 12 races had to coordinate through the Central Council. When something unexpected happened, it took time for information to flow up the command chain, get discussed, and then flow back down as new orders, time that the humans did not give them. Captain Lee's fighter squadron reached the alien defensive line and did something that made no tactical sense. Instead of firing their weapons or trying to break through, they scattered in 12 different directions. Each pilot flew toward a different alien ship type. "What are they doing?" the Kliksari Queen asked. "They are not attacking. They are just flying around us." What the aliens did not realize was that each human pilot was gathering detailed sensor data about their specific target. Lee's squadron was not there to fight. They were there to learn exactly how each alien ship type operated in real combat conditions. While the fighters gathered intelligence, the separated sections of the human fleet began their real attack. But it was not the kind of attack the aliens expected. Instead of trying to break through the defensive sphere, the human ships used their quantum drives to make micro-jumps within the battlefield. One moment, a human vessel would be in front of a Drakmari cruiser, drawing fire from its plasma cannons. The next moment, it would appear behind a Vorthan shield generator, attacking its power source. The aliens had prepared for conventional space warfare. They expected ships to fly in straight lines and fight at predictable ranges. The human ability to instantly relocate anywhere within the battle zone broke all their tactical models. "This is not how space combat works," the Zephyrian leader said in frustration. "Ships cannot simply appear and disappear at will. The humans are using some kind of short-range teleportation technology," reported a Vorthan scientist. "Our models did not account for this capability." Dr. Park watched her sensor displays with satisfaction as the alien fleet struggled to adapt. "Admiral," she said to Kim, "their communication traffic is increasing exponentially. Every race is asking the others for new instructions." "How long before they adapt?" Kim asked. "The Zephyrians need 17 minutes to recalibrate their sensors," Park replied after checking her calculations. "The Drakmari plasma batteries require 11 minutes to achieve new firing solutions. The Klixari swarm coordination will take at least 20 minutes to reorganize." Kim nodded. This was exactly what he had hoped for. The aliens were more advanced technologically, but they were also more rigid in their thinking. When something unexpected happened, their sophisticated systems needed time to adjust. "And how long do we need to completely change our formation?" Kim asked. Captain Lee's voice came through the communication system from his fighter. 37 seconds, Admiral. All squadrons report ready for Phase 2. The smile on Kim's face was not pleasant. "Begin the final approach," he ordered. "All ships, prepare for close-quarters combat." The human fleet, still projecting false sensor images and jumping unpredictably around the battlefield, began to converge on the mining platforms. But they were not converging from the outside of the alien defensive sphere. They were converging from the inside. While the aliens had been distracted by the electronic warfare and quantum jumping, several human ships had slipped through gaps in the defensive formation. The aliens had been so focused on the obvious threats that they had not noticed the subtle ones. The dance was almost over. Soon the aliens would learn what happened when humans stopped playing by the rules of conventional warfare. The moment that changed galactic history began at exactly 14:23:06 ship time. Admiral Kim looked at his tactical display one final time, then spoke 3 words that would be remembered forever. "Execute final phase." Across the human fleet, every ship captain received the same signal simultaneously. They had been waiting for this moment since the battle began. Every system was ready. Every crew member knew their role. The Soul Gambit was about to reach its conclusion. What the alien commanders did not understand was that humans had grown up playing video games. From childhood, every human learned to make split-second decisions while managing multiple tasks at once. Their brains were wired for rapid response in chaotic situations. The Galactic Council races thought in terms of careful planning and methodical execution. They made excellent long-term strategies, but they struggled when everything changed at once. Their advanced minds needed time to process new information and develop appropriate responses. Humans needed 37 seconds to completely change the entire battle. At Kim's signal, every human vessel activated their quantum drives simultaneously, but instead of jumping away from the alien fleet, they jumped directly into the heart of the defensive formation. 17 ships that had been spread across the battlefield suddenly appeared at point-blank range with the most important alien vessels. The aliens' own defensive systems turned against them in that moment. Their automated weapons could not fire at targets within minimum safe distance without risking damage to friendly ships. Safety protocols that had been designed to prevent accidents now prevented them from fighting back. "Impossible," the Zephyrian leader shouted as human ships materialized mere meters from his command vessel. "Our shields will destroy them at this range." But human engineering was different from alien engineering. While alien ships relied on powerful external shields, Human vessels used ablative armor that could survive brief contact with energy fields. They had designed their ships specifically for close-range combat. Captain Lee led his fighter squadron through the chaos like a master conductor directing an orchestra. His pilots had spent years training for exactly this kind of battle. While alien pilots needed computer assistance to navigate complex situations, humans used instinct and experience. "Target the shield generators," Lee ordered over the communication system. "Remember, we disable, we do not destroy. Minimum necessary force." This was another aspect of human warfare that confused the aliens. Most galactic races fought to completely destroy their enemies. Humans fought to achieve specific objectives with the least possible violence. They were dangerous not because they were bloodthirsty, but because they were precise. Dr. Park watched her displays as the alien fleet dissolved into chaos. "Admiral, the alien command structure is breaking down," she reported. Each race is trying to coordinate with the others, but their communication systems cannot handle the information overload. This was the key insight that had made the Soul Gambit possible. The alien coalition's greatest strength was also its greatest weakness. 12 different races with 12 different technologies and combat doctrines could be incredibly powerful when they worked together smoothly. But when something unexpected happened, those same 12 different systems created 12 different types of confusion. The Klixari swarm fighters tried to surround the human ships, but they collided with Drakmari heavy cruisers that were attempting to reposition for better firing angles. The Vorthan shield generators interfered with Zephyrian sensor arrays, creating dead zones in their detection grid. Every alien race had trained extensively with their own technology, but they had never really trained to work closely with all the others at the same time under pressure. Their individual excellence became collective chaos when the situation changed too rapidly. Human crews, meanwhile, operated with the kind of seamless coordination that came from their connected culture. Every human had grown up with social media, online gaming, and digital communication. They instinctively understood how to work together while making independent decisions. "All units, converge on primary target," Kim ordered as his command module approached the largest mining platform. "Captain Lee, are your charges ready?" "Quantum charges armed and ready, Admiral," Lee replied. His fighter carried special explosives designed not to destroy, but to disrupt. Approaching the primary shield generator now, the alien defenders finally began to adapt to the new situation. Drakmari plasma cannons swiveled toward human targets. Klixari fighters regrouped for coordinated attacks. Vorthan shield operators worked frantically to protect critical systems. But 37 seconds had already passed. Lee's fighter dove toward the massive shield generator that protected the mining platform. Behind him, alien weapons fired desperately, but human electronic warfare systems made targeting nearly impossible. False images flickered across alien sensors. Real ships appeared where fake ones had been moments before. The quantum charge attached to the shield generator with a soft magnetic click. It was no bigger than a human fist, but it contained compressed space-time that would create a localized gravitational anomaly when activated. "Charge attached," Lee reported as he pulled his fighter away from the platform. "All ships prepare for gravitational displacement." Kim counted down the seconds on his personal timer. Around him, the battle raged as both sides fired desperately at each other, but the outcome was no longer in doubt. The Soul Gambit had achieved its primary objective. Detonation in 3, 2, 1, mark. The quantum charge exploded silently in the vacuum of space. For a brief moment, nothing seemed to happen. Then reality twisted around the mining platform as artificial gravity wells formed and collapsed in rapid succession. The effect was not violent like a conventional explosion. Instead, it was eerily beautiful. Space itself seemed to ripple like water as gravitational waves propagated outward from the detonation point. The alien fleet suddenly found themselves facing a choice no military commander ever wanted to make. They could continue fighting and risk being pulled into the artificial black hole that was forming near the mining platform, or they could retreat and abandon their defensive positions. "All ships, emergency withdrawal," the Zephyrian leader ordered. "Minimum safe distance from the gravitational anomaly." One by one, alien vessels activated their engines and pulled back from the mining platforms. Their perfect defensive formation scattered as each ship prioritized survival over tactics. The humans, who had expected this result, were already moving to safe positions. Their quantum drives allowed them to jump away from the danger zone instantly. Within minutes, the entire alien fleet was in full retreat, while the human ships regrouped at a safe distance. Dr. Park checked her sensors and confirmed what everyone could see. "The mining platforms are caught in the gravitational field," she reported. "They will be completely destroyed within an hour, but no alien ships were lost." This had been the goal from the beginning. Destroy the infrastructure, not the people. Send a message about human capabilities without starting a genocidal war. Captain Lee brought his fighter back to the command module and docked with practiced ease. "All squadrons accounted for, Admiral," he reported. "0 casualties on our side. Alien fleet is withdrawing to minimum safe distance." Kim nodded with satisfaction. The Soul Gambit had worked perfectly, but he knew the real test was just beginning. The aliens would want answers. They would want to understand how their superior numbers and technology had been defeated so quickly. "Dr. Park, open a communication channel to the alien fleet," Kim ordered. "It is time to talk." The holographic display activated, showing the interior of the Zephyrian command ship. The crystal leader looked shaken and confused. Behind him, representatives from all 12 alien races gathered around their own displays. "Admiral Kim," the Zephyrian said with barely controlled emotion, "you have destroyed our mining operation and forced our withdrawal. This will not be forgotten." Kim remained calm and respectful. "Honored representatives," he replied, "we have demonstrated that continued conflict serves no one's interests. Perhaps it is time to discuss a different approach to our relationship." The alien leaders looked at each other uncertainly. Everything they thought they knew about human military capabilities had just been proven wrong. The confident predictions of their war council seemed foolish now. "How?" the Drakmari general asked bluntly. "How did you accomplish in minutes what we calculated would take you hours to fail?" Kim smiled slightly. It was not a cruel smile, but rather the expression of someone who understood something that others did not. "You calculated what we would do," he said simply. "We calculated what we could do. The difference is why we are human." 6 hours after their predicted human defeat, the Galactic Council held another emergency meeting. The mood was very different this time. Where confidence had once filled the chamber, now uncertainty and confusion dominated the discussion. The holographic displays that had shown their perfect battle plans now displayed empty space where the mining platforms had been. Casualty reports were surprisingly minimal. The humans had been careful to target infrastructure rather than alien lives, but the psychological impact was enormous. Representatives from 12 different races sat in stunned silence as they tried to understand what had happened. Their most advanced computer models had been completely wrong. Their tactical simulations had predicted human defeat within hours. Instead, the humans had won in minutes. The Drakmari general was the first to speak. "We need to understand how they did this," he said, his voice filled with frustration. "Our intelligence was wrong. Our calculations were wrong. Everything was wrong." The Clixari queen clicked her mandibles nervously. "My swarm coordination protocols failed completely," she admitted. "The human fighters moved in ways that my pilots could not predict or counter. They fought like individuals but coordinated like a hive mind." The Vorthon technical specialist pulled up sensor recordings from the battle. "Their electronic warfare capabilities are far beyond what we anticipated," he reported. "They created false sensor readings that fooled our most advanced detection systems, and their quantum drives allowed tactical mobility we thought was impossible. But it was the Zephyrian leader who asked the most important question. 'Are we safe?' he inquired quietly. 'If humans can defeat our combined fleets this easily, what prevents them from conquering our territories?' Before anyone could answer, Admiral Kim's image appeared on the main communication display. The human looked tired but not triumphant. Behind him, the bridge of his command module showed crew members working calmly at their stations. "Honored representatives," Kim said with formal politeness, "I hope you will allow me to address your concerns directly." The alien leaders exchanged glances. They had expected demands for surrender or threats of further attacks. Instead, the human admiral sounded like he wanted to have a reasonable conversation. "Speak," the Zephyrian leader said simply. Kim activated his own holographic display, showing detailed analysis of the recent battle. "You are wondering how we achieved victory so quickly," he said. "The answer is not superior technology or overwhelming force. The answer is different thinking." Dr. So-Young Park appeared beside Kim on the display, Her computer showed statistical models that made several alien counselors lean forward with interest. "We studied your battle tactics for months," Park explained. "Each of your races has excellent military doctrine. Your technology is impressive. Your coordination is normally effective. But you think like a council?" The Zephyrian leader's crystal body flickered with confusion. "What does that mean?" "You make decisions by committee," Kim answered. "Each race contributes their expertise, you discuss options, you reach consensus, and then you execute plans. This works well for long-term strategy, but it is too slow for rapid tactical changes." Captain Lee joined the conversation from the fighter bay. "Humans think differently," he said. "We train every individual to make quick decisions that support the group objective. When the situation changes, we adapt immediately without waiting for new orders." The alien representatives began to understand. Their greatest strength in peaceful negotiations had become a weakness in fluid combat situations. "But that does not explain your technology," the Vorthan commander said. "The ship separation, the quantum jumping, the electronic warfare. These capabilities were not in our intelligence reports." Kim nodded. "Because we developed them specifically for this operation. Human engineering philosophy is different from yours. You create perfect systems that work exactly as designed. We create flexible systems that can be modified for new purposes." Park added more technical details. "The Soul's Pride was originally a standard heavy cruiser. We spent 6 months rebuilding it as a modular vessel that could separate during combat. The quantum drives were experimental technology that we adapted for tactical use." This revelation shocked the alien counselors. The idea of completely rebuilding a major warship for a single operation seemed wasteful and risky to their careful minds. "Why take such risks?" asked the Klixari Queen. "Because the alternative was certain defeat," Kim replied honestly. "Your numbers and technology were superior. Conventional tactics would have failed, so we stopped using conventional tactics." The Drekmari general leaned forward aggressively. "You have shown that you can defeat us. What prevents you from attacking our home systems next?" Kim's expression became serious. "Because conquest is not our goal," he said firmly. "We came to the Kepler 442 system because we need access to quantum crystal technology. Not to steal it, but to trade for it." This statement surprised everyone in the chamber. The aliens had assumed that humans wanted to take their resources by force. "Trade?" the Zephyrian leader asked. "What could humans possibly offer in exchange for our most advanced technology?" Kim smiled for the first time since the conversation began. "We can offer what we just demonstrated," he said. "Human tactical innovation and adaptability. Your individual races are powerful, but you struggle to coordinate effectively. We can teach you how to work together better." Dr. Park activated a new display showing tactical simulations. "Imagine combining Drakmari firepower with human mobility tactics," she said. "Or Vorthan shield technology with human electronic warfare. Or Klixari swarm coordination enhanced by human individual initiative training." The alien leaders studied the simulations with growing interest. The theoretical capabilities were impressive. "You would share your military secrets with us?" the Vorthan commander asked suspiciously. "In exchange for representation on the Galactic Council and access to quantum crystal technology, yes," Kim confirmed. "We believe cooperation serves everyone's interests better than continued conflict." Captain Lee demonstrated his point by performing a complex flight maneuver around the alien fleet. His fighter moved through their formation with impossible precision, showing capabilities that should not have been achievable according to known physics. "This is not about technology," Lee explained over the communication system. "This is about training and mindset. Human pilots learn to push their equipment beyond theoretical limits by combining intuition with technical knowledge." The Zephyrian leader consulted quietly with the other council members. After several minutes of discussion, he turned back to the communication display. "You speak of cooperation," the crystal being said slowly. "But you have just demonstrated that you can defeat our combined fleets whenever you choose. Why should we trust that humans will not use this advantage to dominate us?" Kim's answer was simple and direct. "Because domination requires resources that we would rather spend on exploration and development. Managing conquered territories is expensive and difficult. Trading partnerships are much more profitable." This practical response appealed to the alien leaders more than emotional appeals might have. They understood economic incentives. "What specific terms do you propose?" asked the Vorthan representative. Kim outlined a comprehensive agreement. Humans would receive representation on the Galactic Council, proportional to their population and territory. They would gain access to quantum crystal mining technology and several other advanced alien innovations. In exchange, they would share tactical training methods, modular ship design principles, and rapid adaptation techniques. We also proposed joint military exercises, Park added. Combined human-alien units training together. This would benefit both sides and build trust between our peoples. The council members discussed the proposal for over an hour. The humans waited patiently while the aliens debated among themselves. Finally, the Zephyrian leader spoke for the group. "We are willing to begin negotiations," he announced, "but we want to see more demonstrations of this human adaptability. Can you teach our officers to think as quickly as yours do?" Captain Lee grinned from his fighter cockpit. "Give us your best pilots," he said confidently. "We will show them things they never imagined were possible." The first joint training exercise began 3 days later, in the Kepler 442 system. Human and alien crews worked together for the first time, learning each other's strengths and weaknesses. The results surprised everyone involved. Drakmari gunnery officers learned human targeting techniques that improved their accuracy by 30%. Klixari pilots adopted human formation flying that made their swarms even more effective. Vorthan engineers studied human modular design principles that revolutionized their ship construction. In return, humans gained access to advanced alien technology that accelerated their own development by decades. Quantum crystal power sources made human ships faster and more efficient. Alien metallurgy improved human armor and weapons. But the most important change was not technological. It was cultural. For the first time in galactic history, different species were truly learning to work together as equals rather than as rivals or conquerors. Admiral Kim stood on the bridge of the newly rebuilt Soul's Pride, watching mixed human-alien crews training together in the distance.